Hello, students. Welcome back. I apologize. Mr. Morris has been at the tail end of COVID, so I apologize for my voice. Um, I want to make a video today on how to create an assembly in Inventor. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Inventor. This is the 2021 version, but you can use the 2023. I do have the latest software on my personal computer, but this is the school computer. It's taken a while. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a project folder. A project folder is like a directory where you're going to store all of your files, your part files. So go up here to projects and click on projects. And when it does, I'm going to say new here. And I'm going to select a new single user project. I'm going to select next. And the project name for this here is going to be clamp assembly. All right, so that's my directory. As you can see right here, users, Morris E, documents, inventor, and then clamp assembly. This this is the directory where all my files are going to be stored as I build my assembly. And then select finish. And it says the project path you entered doesn't exist. Should it be created? I'm going to select OK. All right, now as you can see, I'm automatically in that directory. Now you can go ahead, if you want to go back to a previous directory you created, you can double click on it like this. So I'm going to double click on clamp assembly because that's the directory I want to be in, or the project I want to be in. So select done. Now every part that I make going forward is automatically going to be put into the clamp assembly project. Okay. So I'm going to go to new and select new. And I'm going to expand this under templates because I want to use metric units here. It's very rare that I make a metric units part, but this is metric. Select standard IPT and then select create. And we are going to build our first part here. Okay, so it's taking a second. All right, so we want to go to start 2D sketch, start 2D sketch. And for some reason, my computer is acting up, so I have to actually do this twice, but you should only have to do it once. Start 2D sketch, start 2D sketch, and I am going to click on the XY plane. All right. Now, I'm looking at the overall dimensions of my part and just trying to get a feel uh, for how big it is. So we're going to get a rectangle, rectangle 2-point center, and I'm going to click right here at the order. You'll see it turn green. I'm going to left click and drag out a rectangle. Now, this rectangle here is going to be 100 millimeters in the horizontal direction, and hit the tab button. Now you have to scroll out. Remember, you have to rotate your scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom out. The vertical dimension here is going to be 50. All right. And I'm going to enter that. Then I'm going to do a right click. Do a right click on your mouse and select OK. And then select Finish Sketch. Again, you have to rotate your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You may have to hold the scroll wheel down and pan your part around a little bit. Okay, Now we're going to extrude this. Okay, we're going to extrude this. I'm looking at my dimensions. It looks like it's 20 millimeters. So I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to, right here where it says distance, I'm going to put in 20 millimeters. All right, but I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So you can switch directions right here. This is the default direction. If I click here and select OK. All right, so I have something that kind of looks like this. Now, this part that I'm making looks more like a L-shaped bracket. So I'm going to go to Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on this face right here. And I'm going to, let's see, draw a rectangle, but this time I'm going to select 2-point rectangle, and I'm going to click right here on this intersection. You'll see it turn green. Click and drag out a rectangle. Come down here until you click on this line here. Click, and we'll do a right click, OK. Now, one more time, I'm going to do that again in case you missed it. I'm going to go to rectangle, 2-point rectangle. I'm going to click here and drag it down until I touch this line here. Click, do a right click. OK, now I've got to give this rectangle some dimensions here. So the first dimension I'm going to give, click on dimension right here. Click on this edge, click on this edge, click here, and we're going to make that 10. So double click on that, and you can make that 10 millimeters. Select OK. Now I'm also going to double check this dimension. It should be right at 50, which it is. All right, so I have this rectangle here I'm going to use to make my vertical leg here, because remember I said it's going to be an L bracket, L-shaped. So I'm going to get up here in my view cube. See how I did that? Let's go up here and click on different corners and different sides to orient your view and your preferred, whatever view you prefer. And I like working with isometric sometimes because it's easier for me to see what I'm creating. Finish the sketch. I'm going to extrude this rectangle here, and I'm going to make it 110. So type in 100 right here, 110, and I'm going to select OK. All right, so far so good. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to put a couple of counterbore holes here in this face here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on this face right here. Now you can, again, you can draw in this view, or if you're like me, you might want to draw in the isometric view, which is fun. And I'm going to go here to point. See here where it says point? I'm going to click on point. Now watch carefully. I'm going to arbitrarily locate a point here and locate a point here. Do a right click. Okay, so I created 2 points. They're hard to see. That's one of my biggest complaints with Inventor with the points. It's very hard to see the points. All right, now I'm going to make sure these points are properly dimensioned. So I'm going to go to dimension, and I'm going to click on this edge, and I'm going to click on that point. Now this should be, based on my drawing that I have, this should be 25 millimeters. You don't have this drawing, and it's okay because you don't necessarily have to create this part. All you have to do is just kind of watch and learn some things here. I'm going to dimension now. Make sure that should be 25 as well, and it is. I'm just going to leave it there. Now I have to dimension the other point here. Go to dimension. I'm going to click here. Click on this point. I'm going to drag my dimension off the part and left click. And you can double click on it, and the dimension will come up here. Now you can edit the dimension. So this dimension here needs to be 50. Okay, I'm going to select OK. Let's see, where did that point go? You see, it's so hard to see. There it is, right? Oh, it's right there. No wonder it's right there at the origin. So that's 50. Okay, and I'm going to put a dimension here just to double check to make sure it's centered. Sorry. Click here and click here, and it is. So I'll leave that as is, and I'm going to finish the sketch. And I'm going to go down here to where it says hole. Click hole. And we're going to create a hole called a counterbore. Okay. And this is a type of hole you use to recess the head of a bolt so the bolts aren't sticking up above the workpiece. It's called a counterbore. We're going to have through a simple hole, but we're going to have a counterbore seat right here. All right. Now, when you click on this, let me give you the dimensions here. This outer diameter that you see here should be 17.2. All right. And this dimension here needs to be 10.8. All right. And then this dimension right here is the depth. This needs to be 11.5. And I'm going to click on those two points that we put earlier there. Just double checking my dimensions. The overall diameter, 17. That's the counterbore diameter, 17.2. This is the diameter that the through hole diameter is 10.8. And this is the depth of the counterbore itself, 11.5. I'm going to select OK. So now we have two holes. Again, you come over to the view cube and you can click on this to get an idea what it looks like. See, the hole doesn't go, the larger hole doesn't go all the way through because that's where the head of the bolt goes. When you put the bolt in, it's going to go in there. Okay. See here. By the way, the only button I just hit over here is a dynamic view or a free orbit, and you can hold down your left mouse button and you can rotate that around to look at different views. But you have to toggle on, toggle off. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to go back up here to my view cube and get it into the orientation that I want. All right. Another thing I need to do is I need to sketch on this surface here. And there's a slot here, a vertical slot that I want to create. And it looks like it is, if you come up here to where it says SERP rectangle and come down here to where it says slot center point right here, I'm just going to click a couple arbitrary points. We'll click here and click here. Oops. Try that again. Sorry. Sometimes slot is tricky to work with. And notice that notice I didn't really care about the dimensions and so forth. I just placed that. Watch, I'm going to do it one more time. Go to slot right here, slot, center to center, and I'm just going to click roughly about right here, and I'm going to drag, another point. I'm going to try to keep it perfectly lined up. See, it says 180 degrees. All right, now I have to dimension this. So from this line to the center here, this dimension needs to be 10. So double click on the dimension and we're going to make that 10 and select OK. Now I have another dimension I have to worry about here. From center to center is 85. So I'm going to click here and click here and double click on that dimension, highlight it, and we're going to make that 85. And select the green check mark. See, it went up. All right. Now, I've got my centers located properly. My diameter is not right yet. My diameter needs to be it says a radius of 5.5, right? So that's 11. So 11 millimeters. So I'm going to click here, click on that arc there, and it's giving me the radius, so that's okay. We're going to change this to 5.5 and click on the green check mark. All right, now our slot is created. So I'm going to finish the sketch and I'm going to extrude that slot. I'm not going to extrude in this direction though. I want to extrude in the opposite direction because I want to actually make a slotted hole. I don't want to add, if you go the other way, you're going to add material. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I subtract material from the part. Select OK. I only have a couple more things to do to this part here. These corners are rounded. These corners are rounded corners here. And it says that the radius is 5. So I'm going to go to fillet. And right here, I'm going to type in a radius of 5. So you have to click there, put in 5. Now watch carefully. Look, I'm going to click on this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner. And it gives us a radius of 5. Each corner is rounded. Okay. And I'm going to say OK. And there you go. That's this is going to be our first part of our assembly. All right. If you want to give it a different material, you come over here, do a right click, go to Eye Properties, and go to Physical. And I like gold. Mr. Morris is going to make it gold. Apply, and then close. All right. So I'm going to File, Save As, and we're going to save this as Clamp Base. And notice it's part of the clamp assembly directory. That's the project we created earlier. So it's going to save the base. Save. Okay, so that part is created. All right, so at this point, I want to create my second part. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video and I will create the second part. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make sure File, save all this one more time. It's saved. And I'm going to stop this video because I don't want to run out of memory. So I'm going to stop. I'll see you in the next video.